us tagged and collared.
Citadel hasn't seen the reality of this war yet. We should stock up on necessities while we can.
I'm back on the Normandy on an important mission. Sure could use you.
I would not be as I was before. I need daily medical attention.
Please believe me. I want nothing more than to be with you again, but I can't.
I can't infiltrate a Reaper party and steal a big I win bomb.
I still need time. You'll have my answer soon, I promise.
The Shadow Broker fully supports your efforts against the Reapers.
Now that's a bottom line I can respect.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another round of Arbitration Studios as we return to the beginning of the whole damn thing of the Mass Effect series. I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And I meant it when I said we return to the beginning. We're going to Eden Prime, baby.
Oh.
Apparently Cerberus has found something in the refrigerator and we gotta clean it out.
And you know what? If Cerberus wants it,
we
should stop them from having it.
So, as is befitting, going back to where it all began, obviously I don't have Ashley with us, or Tally, but I took what best friend squad we have.
Understandable.
So, Garrus and Liara. I mean, that's
some people's best friend squad. There are some people that's their best friend squad.
I do really like the fact, having been playing this, not only for recording this, but also I've been just doing other characters casually, going back and realizing, no, Mass Effect 3, with the exception of Vega and Javik, really is best friend squad the entire game.
Yeah, it is. And I
like Vega. Vega's good.
Nothing wrong with Vega. Honestly, nothing wrong with Javik either.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to. He's like Teal'c in Stargate.
Yeah.
Like when Teal'c was more than just the soldier or the former soldier of the enemy.
Yeah.
When the series allowed Teal'c to evolve. The same way Worf evolved.
Yes.
Because Worf just existed to be the Klingon that got his ass kicked to let you know this was serious.
Yep. And Teal'c changed. Yep. No, absolutely. Javik's the same way. I think.
I think the thing that made Teal'c the best, and this was something that was actually part of his character from the beginning, it wasn't something that had to evolve, was that you realize that Teal'c had a lot of, I guess the word I would use is mirth.
Yes.
Yes. A lot of that subtle humor.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very funny.
So someone calling Conan being referred to as the barbarian when he was arguably the most educated person he would run across.
Indeed. So here we have, we're back at Eden Prime, and we're getting a look at what Eden Prime would look like with the better graphics, with the better, with a more modern.
It also
thing from the first one.
It also helps that it's daylight.
Yep, that also helps
because in the first game it was evening.
Indeed, we get to see all of that. We also don't have a Reaper coming down on top of us on this one.
Yeah, that would muck up the atmosphere a bit, wouldn't it?
Totally.
Also, I selected what will be probably a very familiar friend for us, in terms of weaponry, the N7 Piranha shotgun. One of the two N7 specialist gear pieces. The first one, the Crusader, was labeled a shotgun, but it fired one large slug, and that's really cool because it allows you to take advantage of shotgun skills while also having concentrated long-range firepower. The Piranha takes the exact opposite effect. Its spread is ridiculously wide, but it's rapid fire, and with the right add-ons and the right perks and the right ammo, it can just armor. What's that? Also, being a Vanguard, I don't need long-range firepower,
right? And the beauty of this game is how many. Or one of the beauties, it's very beautiful, is how many different ways you can play it. How many different ways you can go about slaughtering your enemies.
Yeah, the classic Vanguard combination is the Claymore shotgun combined with the Charge Nova combo,
Mm-hmm.
and I never got into that because my value has always been in accuracy by volume.
Ah,
If it was good enough for the A10, it's good enough for me.
facts.
So
No question. Facts.
so that's where I've always, in terms of the things I've always valued in terms of shoot 'em up games of any type is what's your fire rate and how well can I keep the gun on target when I'm mag dumping.
No question. No question.
And that's just me. That's not the right or the wrong
No.
way to do it.
And that's the beauty. And like I said, the game has so much variation to it. About the only thing that is really kind of prohibitive to do is melee. Is go through it as a meleeist. I mean, you can.
Don't work.
It doesn't work. But if you're good in like
Mass Effect 3's Vanguard was the closest thing to trying.
yeah, and you you can punch your way through things.
I mean, we're Agatha goddamn Fisty after all.
But it's not recommended.
Ain't that the damn truth?
It's not recommended at all. But I think that and here we have we've got our we've got our dang
Cerberus.
Cerberus. Thank you. I forgot the name of the enemy there for a second.
Happens to the best of us.
So this, as far as a combat situation goes, I feel like this is for lack of it's a great training environment.
Well, this was definitely meant to be an early game thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole catch behind it was that Javik, even after you pick him up, does spoilers, by the way, we're picking up Javik.
Yeah.
He does not actually become playable until you, I want to say, recover Bakara.
Yeah, I think something along those lines. Like he's on the ship with you, but you can't actually.
And the excuse is I'm still recovering from my stasis period, which honestly, a 10,000 year nap, you need to stretch out a little bit.
Hey, look, after a 4-hour nap, I get a little Rip Van Winkly. But
these fucking things.
Oh, those indeed.
Like, don't get me wrong. The thing that I love about Cerberus as an enemy ecosystem in this game is that they are geared toward, they are a true military unit in that their whole thing is drawing you out, limiting your maneuver options, pinning you down, or making you move where they want you to move. And the grenades and the turrets in particular are really, really effective tools from a gameplay perspective on that. Because, I mean, in Mass Effect 2, you remember when I said that the gameplay for the Mass Effect trilogy really does a poor job, in my mind, of incentivizing you away from the soldier archetype.
Yeah. No.
Because you can hunker down and wait them out.
Yep. No. I think that role-playing games in general tend to favor the warrior archetype, the fighter archetype, if you will. I think that they tend to lean towards whether you're like an agile, quick, rapid fire hitter or a heavy armor tank. They tend to just kind of favor whatever genre of role-playing game.
I will say this, just to interrupt you real quick. I am still super proud of the fact that I cut all of this for the very beginning of this particular part of our Mass Effect series into one video. So
no, it was really exquisite work.
I mean, I wouldn't say exquisite. I'm a talentless hack, but
Well,
It was a good prologue.
here's the thing: most talented people I know say that they're talentless hacks. That's I'm not even kidding you. I have been awarded acting awards, and I still claim to be a talentless hack. So it's
I do appreciate this though for uh these particular flashbacks, even though like technologically they don't make much sense in the Mass Effect
no,
universe.
no, they don't.
But because no computer system can really maintain cohesion for 10,000 years. I mean the chips will just oxidize.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, like, they don't go into like.
They
This
try
is
to say
science
it's like
fiction, right?
Mhm.
That leans heavily in the fiction area and away from the science area.
borderline space magic.
Yes, as opposed to something like Star Trek, where they would explain it, or as we were talking about Stargate, where they explain that it lasts 10,000 years because they're not using chips; they're using crystals.
Yep. Or in the it's Star Trek works to make what they're doing seem plausible,
Yep.
but not factual.
Yeah.
Stargate works along the same way, but because a lot of it is from a human perspective and it's co-opting alien technology, um, I don't want to say factual, but the plausibility scale goes even harder.
Yeah.
On that, Battlestar Galactica, the Ronald D. Moore version of the show, it was flat a thing of, look, we can justify everything that happens in this show using modern scientific principles, except faster than light travel.
Right.
I mean, even the artificial intelligence of the Cylons is just, we know we can do this. It's just a matter of materials and computing power.
Right. And that's hard science fiction is, and a lot of people actually prefer hard science fiction to say something like Star Wars, which leans very heavily onto the and this is in no way to say a complaint or bagging on. This is merely stating the how it is, and I think that in the case of Mass Effect, Mass Effect is in my mind, has always been a kind of a good balance.
Well, the thing about Mass Effect is that almost everything in there can be justified in that basic principle of, if you can artificially increase or decrease the mass of an object, you can do really wild shit with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that basic principle follows Newtonian principles.
Yes.
Now, how you do that is where the space magic comes in.
Yes.
Contrast that with Star Wars, which is, let's be honest, Star Wars is a pure fantasy setting with science fiction trappings.
Yeah.
It is everything. Yeah. Everything in Star Wars is space magic.
Yes.
And always has been. I'm not gonna dunk on Disney or Kathleen Kennedy or anyone on that, because first off, they don't deserve it, and second off, fuck you. It's always been like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for me, one of the things that I loved most about Mass Effect when I first was playing through it was that they stayed true to the universe that they were in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's people look at stuff like Star Wars or Stargate or something, and they're trying to put their idea or our ideas and what's in the real universe, and they're judging it by that. They're
trying to make it work.
Right. Judge it by how it works in the universe that it's in. The rules get set, and we understand the rules, and with Mass Effect, of course, because with BioWare and with they tend to explain things to you in about the game and about the lore and stuff in library kind of things. So you have the choice you could learn all about it if you want and read all about it and kind of get all that lore and that knowledge, or not. It's entirely up to you.
It's all right. I don't think we've talked about this much on this program.
No, I don't.
But one of my favorite sci-fi franchise of all time is the BattleTech / MechWarrior series.
Right.
And there is a conceit in this series that is really hard to wrap your head around whenever you like really put more than a minute's worth of thought into it, and that is that all of warfare became centralized around the battle mech, the bipedal nuclear powered tank. Um and the thing about mechs as a fighting vehicle is that when you really think about it, it's a really dumb idea.
Oh yeah, yeah. No.
You're talking about something that's intrinsically imbalanced. It's a humongous target, and yada yada yada. I could go on and on and on. You have to accept the fact that in this universe, for some effing reason,
Yes.
everyone and their mother decided to make that the principal means of war fighting, even though it was kind of ridiculous. And you can kind of work backwards as to why it would work. I always argue the logistical tail of a mech is significantly shorter than that of a tank.
Yeah. Oh.
I also we're getting to it. The other thing that I would argue is that the mechs in BattleTech in particular, but usually in like anything that involves them, are engineered to operate in any environment, including the vacuum of space.
Yes.
So that's kind of the that's kind of the thing that allows it, because like you have a diesel powered tank, you need oxygen to run that engine. Just as an example. So back to Mass Effect though. The central conceit here of, hey, we can increase and decrease the mass of things, which is why Liara can create an artificial black hole there, works.
Absolutely. And right here, I think this particular part of the mission, which is hold this area while these guys come in, I feel like was kind of a... because, of course, they have the multiplayer in this, where a lot of the multiplayer is this.
And this wasn't used as a multiplayer map, which is a shame, because I think it would have been a really good one.
Agreed.
Because unlike a lot of the multiplayer maps, which are hunker down, hold a key point, and then do your best, this map encourages mobility.
Right. Yes.
Even in holding this area, unless you're the sniper archetype, you really kind of want to weave through the buildings.
Absolutely. You got to where I was going, and a lot quicker than I would. This is, and for me, I enjoy this one, and I enjoy this one regardless of. There's a lot of these kind of like fights that you get into.
Oh shit!
That I'm. Oh god! Speaking of mechs, there's a lot of these.
I punch the mech.
Indeed. There's a lot of these that you have to go through in all of the games. And there's, certain builds that I like for certain things. I've yet to find a build that doesn't work on this one.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't effective on this one.
Like there are some builds that do not work on the absolute hardest difficulty of the series, but I'm a middle-aged father with a job and other responsibilities. I don't have the time or patience to do insanity anymore.
Oh Lord, no. Here's the thing. If you do those and you achieve those, and you achieve the kind of thing, and you win, great. Good on you. Nothing, I nothing against you, but I play games for enjoyability. I play games for relaxation. I play games for, I'm not playing the game to be quote unquote challenged, to get, more frustrated with life, to get more stressed out.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to get for the comments criticizing the fact that I'm playing MechWarrior 5 The Clans on narrative difficulty, because holy shit, that game's hard.
Oh gods.
Oh, people. Oh no, not people.
Oh gods, it's people-y out here. And they're primitives.
Great cut we're coming up here.
Be careful, he's confused.
Yeah, you need to stretch those out. Work your hammies.
I mean,
I wouldn't think there'd be much muscle deterioration, particularly since he was frozen.
but
But
I don't know how their stasis.
this is the cut that I was talking about. It's only been. That's just a good cut.
It is.
Um. Anyway, where were we at?
Um, we were talking about how he needed to stretch out his hammies, and
Oh,
I said that I wasn't sure how their uh, stasis worked because, for instance, we go back to
well, he had visible frost on him.
right. We go back to well, we had visible something. Not sure if it was frost or not. It was some kind of uh, uh, material. Um, you know, uh, the Stargate stasis pods could last tens of thousands of years with no as long as they kept power.
That's apparently how these things work. Because
Yeah,
the only reason they failed on Ilos was because of a lack of power.
indeed,
So,
indeed. And so because of course they have the MacGuffin of the 0 point module in Stargate. Well, they have no real MacGuffin power wise. They can, power wise, they're kind of like, I mean,
I get the feeling that a lot of power generation is actually entirely conventional,
yeah,
like nuclear
yeah,
fusion and whatnot.
yeah. That's nuclear fission, fusion, whichever they're using hydrogen 3. Um, you know, they're conventional in
It's mundane.
sci-fi, yeah, mundane in sci-fi terms. The
Like, I think that it's mentioned that the Geth in Mass Effect 2 do use antimatter reactions
Yeah.
in order to get a shit ton of juice, but they also need a shit ton of juice because they're computer programs.
Indeed,
So,
indeed. Oh. Some of and the game's visuals did get better, obviously.
dad ass.
But the because sometimes the look in the eyes is just like, oh,
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just inspecting that
yeah,
insectoid
the
booty.
Promethean booty. Agatha, you are not a booty warrior yet. Uh,
So, anywho, um, yeah, the thing about uh, I have a hard time with Javik as a character, mostly because he is very one note. They Bioware tried, but I think because they had the impetus from EA to make money through DLC, and also this was like the era of carve out things to ensure that the game gets bought new.
yeah,
And I think they often the accusation was often leveled that Javik was locked as a DLC character, which is true but not, in that he was supposed to be the you bought from the store bonus. You bought it brand new bonus,
right.
not a pre-order.
Genau. Yeah.
At least if I recall correctly. If I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. It doesn't change the fact that it was a shitty tactic.
No, it doesn't, as much as I do like Javik, actually. I disagree with you on that.
I
I
get
like
too much
Javik.
Shadow the Hedgehog vibes from him, and considering that I just watched Sonic 3 with the boys,
Yeah,
that and oh my god, he's just as insufferable as he was in the Dreamcast games. Um,
indeed.
I sorry, Keanu, it's not you. It's it's the material you're working with.
Absolutely.
It's sort of like Idris Elba being the voice of Knuckles, and I know that both of those men, high caliber actors, were having the absolute time of their life
Yeah,
doing it.
because neither one of them phone anything in. So the reason I like Javik is because he's unlikable. I want unlikable people on my team. I don't want everybody to be likable. And I'm not talking about unlikable like uh in the sense of like I just this character, I don't want this character on my team or something. I mean somebody who is just not
A
a,
right
a pleasant
bonehead.
person. Somebody who calls people primitives, somebody who talks about lizards in trees and I think that
They used to eat flies.
yes, they used to eat flies. That line, I kind of like that.
I don't get this literal water table either. I mean, he explains that he has to wash his hands, but what's with the table?
Yeah,
Because like that table doesn't look like it has any depth to it.
I'm wondering if there's an explanation somewhere in the lore that we don't read because we never read the lore.
Sink.
Uh,
There's this thing called a sink.
that they have to have some, standing water or something.
You don't need sci-fi bullshit. You need a kitchen sink.
But why, when you could have sci-fi bullshit, would you not have sci-fi bullshit?
I think that's the last time we are going to see the cipher hallucination.
Yeah, the original cipher hallucination. Which, by the way,
and yes, it is a hallucination.
If I did not mention it in earlier games when we saw it, the very first time I saw that freaked me the frick out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was like, what?
Well, it's the images flashing, and they're all freaking terrifying. And we see, thanks to first off the journey throughout Mass Effect, and now Javik kind of like fully unlocking because he has the full context, including what it means behind it. Like you get everything, and that's cool. Also, I think in Mass Effect 2 you encounter a Prothean sphere, and
Yes.
like that also like triggers it.
I believe so.
So-
I don't remember. What I do remember is that when I first played through Mass Effect 1, I was going through my divorce and I was drinking heavily. And combining heavy drinking with that scene did not work out for Captain Jack.
It is so weird that your family life and my family life are kind of like weird inverses of each other.
Isn't it though?
Because you got two girls, I got two boys. You're divorced or remarried. I never divorced. So it's just like weird, like upside down work.
Yeah, well, I'm not as smart as you are when it comes to significant others.
Well, and I'm more of a dirtbag than you are somehow.
Well, I know, right? Which goes to show how much of a dirtbag you are. Not in any way, shape, or form. I'm a good person.
Anyway,
so here we are.
we're getting to know Javik.
Indeed.
And yeah, his whole he make the Milky Way great again is his political philosophy.
And to be perfectly honest with you, when there's only one of them, I'm okay with it. If there was like 10 million of him, there would be a problem.
Yeah, and that's going to be the problem with the Hanar later, but
you know how I feel about the Hanar.
Big stupid jellyfish.
Squishy.
Look, guys, we're just gonna pour a bunch of salt on you, okay?
Yeah, I'm not a Hanar fan. I'm not a Hanar fan in the sense of I'm not a fan of the Hanar. I am a fan of the idea of the Hanar. That sounds weird. I'll go into it the next time we see one.
We mentioned it before of non-humanoid species.
Ah, yes. That's what I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of that.
We found this hard drive. Don't look at it. Why? It contains hentai. Ooh, the worst hentai. The things that get you on a list.
Krogan hentai?
The kind of hentai the Krogan would judge you for.
Excellent.
The Asari finally learned how to write. Excuse me?
I love his arrogance. I love his
We're doing this mostly to pad out the video, I'm gonna be completely honest.
That's perfectly fine. Like I said, I like Javik. I like the fact that he's an asshat. I like the fact that he is...
I do like the fact that he is not the last survivor of an alien species who knows everything. It's like, I'm a fucking grunt, okay?
Yeah, he was a military guy. He was a fighter. He didn't know how his technology works. He didn't even know how his culture works. Which most people...
Because by the time he was born, the Reapers were like 3/4 of the way through the harvest.
Yep, absolutely.
So, like, even he doesn't really know what the Prothean Empire is.
No, and honestly, sit down and think about it. Do any of us really know how it works? No.
No.
We just know that it does work. Ish.
No, it's why I always laugh at the arrogance of the founding fathers. Would always thought, you don't fucking know that.
Nobody knows what they. I mean, we know what they wrote,
Yeah,
but we do know. I do suspect that they would share our love of thick goth mommies. Um,
look, I'm proud of them for losing that way, but Abaddon did not. Over at Ring of Honor did not need to lose that way.
no,
I'm proud of Jordan Grace for getting jacked. She didn't need to.
no. I her decision. I approve of it 100%. But if the idea there was, she wasn't. We're talking about somebody that has nothing to do with this, by the way. Um, although I think she would play an amazing Krogan. Because obviously, if you were going to have a live action of this, the Krogan would have to be CGI, or, in my opinion,
Like the Incredible Hulk.
or, and I think that Jim Henson could probably do an amazing one, and I think that would be fantastic. Because Jim Henson's the Henson Creature Shop is, in fact, would be my go-to.
That big shaggy guy.
Sweetums.
That was who was played by a person with like a big shoulder
Yep,
brace.
Sweetums.
Okay.
I love me some Sweetums. But anyways, I think that
So you say Henson. I think Stan Winston would be good for Krogan.
oh, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
Now, granted, he was an apprentice or not an apprentice, a protege of Henson.
Yeah, no, no, I get you. I just think that you can do that. You could do this practical. Is what I'm saying. Is that this is not. There have been video games that I've played where I'm like, I can't see any way to practically do this. It would have to be CGI. But with this, I think a lot could be done with prosthetics and puppetry.
For the Turians, we know this for a fact because the Predator movies.
Yes. Also, I think we know this for a fact because cosplay.
Yeah.
Because cosplay is a thing. Which
and same thing with the Protheans, which despite the 4 eyes and the insectoid head and limbs, they are very much they are very much the human shape.
Right.
You would have to get someone tall and extremely skinny.
Yes. And really the problem if you're talking about doing a live action would be like the Hanar and the
Hanar would necessitate CG.
Yeah, and the Alcor. And the Reapers, I feel like you could probably do them with models, but they would do them with CGI. Whereas I'm more of a model guy. I like models. I like model work. I think model work tends to still hold up.
Yeah, the Asari are just hot babes in prosthetics and blue paint.
I know. Like I said, cosplay. We've seen very, very good cosplay of the Asari and of...
Especially on Pornhub, which is kind of disturbing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little disturbing, but not,
It's more like, is this like the only place I can find good Asari cosplay?
I have to be honest with you, the lack of Krogan cosplay on Pornhub kind of bothers me. But, I mean, to each his own. We don't judge.
Yeah.
We listen, we don't judge. But we do why from time to time.
Every damn day I've known you. Every day.
So, Javik, I think, has some of the more unintentionally funny lines in the series where the lines were written, I feel like, to accentuate the fact that he's 10,000 years old, that all of these races were in their primitive stages when his race was fully developed and at the peak. They were all in these primitive cave dwelling, and he's trying to show off that he's so much more, and that's but they come across as just hilarious.
Yeah, but Javik isn't advanced, he's just a dick.
Exactly. And I love that.
Even his accent, which is like this weird mixture of like Caribbean and North African.
Yeah.
That is like supposed to sound sophisticated in the same way that like Americans find British accents sophisticated,
Mhm.
and it doesn't work. It just because when he says the things that he says, now he just sounds like a sophisticated dick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We alluded to it, and probably one of my favorite lines from him is, they used to eat flies. I just love that line. It's it showcases that line alone showcases what an absolute dick he is. And look,
I contrast this with again Christopher Judge playing Teal'c, and really all he had to do to get, because you've heard Christopher Judge on like podcasts and whatnot,
yeah,
or doing other characters, and it's like the Teal'c voice is there, but it's like there's something wrong with it, and all he did was slow down and enunciate.
yes, yeah.
That was all he had to do.
Yeah, and Teal'c did the exact opposite. Teal'c as a character was well, he was also unintentionally funny a lot. He was never a dick.
No.
Um
Well, Teal'c was the I'm a stranger in a strange land, and I must adapt to the culture. He never like resisted assimilating into Earth.
right.
And to a certain extent he resented initially, but always understood that because I got this thing in my chest, I can't be permitted outside.
Right.
Because, like I can't go to a beach or whatnot. I mean,
Or a production of the Vagina Monologues.
mm, mm. Uh, anyway, and on that note, I think we're gonna end it there. Jesus Christ. Why are we friends?
I ask that question about everyone that's my friend. I have no idea why anybody would want to be friends with me. I'll be honest with you.